You look fantastic. Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon and good evening. Thank you so much for coming to the Rise Up and Carve reveal. We have Barry carving during nap time on Instagram, who shared with his absolutely lovely template for baking and cooking for carving out measuring ingredient amounts. So, Barry, I'd love you just to talk about kind of the inspiration for this design, maybe a little bit of a background on you carving, when you carve, kind of what got you into carving, all of that good stuff. So take it away, Barry.
Sure. I'm going to apologize for the pajamas and the mess because it's midnight here. So this kind of sums up me. I carve when everyone else is napping. So I'm a stay-at-home dad. I've got two young boys, so carving fits in when it fits in. So this template, a friend of mine who actually introduced me to spoon carving, she had a double-ended spoon that she was making, and I liked the idea, so I just kind of took it and played with it. And then when Sonny and Chuck were asking for templates, I thought, oh well, I haven't seen anybody do anything like it, so yeah, I'm excited to see what everyone's done.
That's fantastic. And you've got an example there that you've carved
Yeah,
yourself? Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
I've actually managed to make one, which worked out quite well, the timing. So this is actually going to be a gift for one of my son's teachers for it's the end of the school year here in a couple of weeks. So yeah.
that's lovely. And the type of wood, that stripe in it is just gorgeous. Is that spalting or coloration in the wood?
No, that's just the way the wood works. It's camphor laurel. It's a weed tree here. You get it all around the place. And when you're carving it, it does smell like, you know, um, medicine. So it does smell like camphor. But yeah, it gets just random bands in the tree coming through as really dark coloring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's wonderful. And then can you talk a little bit about like measuring the void? Just because these are measuring spoons, you want them to be like an accurate amount of the space that you have followed out.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit
Um,
about how you measure that, what precision you look for or not precision?
yeah, it's been really cool actually seeing how everybody's done it. I know Jody changed the shape to make them narrower so she could get them in her spice jars, which I think's really smart. I probably should have done that with my template. And Rachel made hers to fit her hook, so she was like, "I'll calculate the exact volume." I'm not as precise as Rachel, so to me, close enough is probably good enough.
Mhm.
But the way I do it is I just use poppy seeds.
Mm.
So that's a tablespoon that I measured out and I've just got in a jar, and a teaspoon. And I literally just carve the bowl, pour it in,
Mhm.
flatten it off. If it doesn't all fit in, I dig it out a bit more. If it all disappears into the middle, I take the sides down
Mhm.
and just yeah, play with it.
That's amazing. And you do that kind of after or when it's dry, finishing cuts, you're typically carving dry wood, is that right? Just to make sure that the green wood's not
Yeah, I typically carve dry wood. I mean, I don't think it makes a great deal of difference. Like if it's green wood, how much is it really going to move?
yeah.
Probably not that much. And a small shaving here or there can usually fix your volumes up. But probably the biggest confusion is, for some unknown reason, in Australia, a tablespoon is 20 milliliters, and everywhere else in the world it's 15, which is about half a fluid ounce.
Okay.
I don't know why in Australia they make big ones, but the volume on mine was 15 because
Okay.
I know the rest of the world works differently to us, so fit in with the majority of the people.
Yeah, and recipes, I'm sure. Like that must be very confusing when you get a recipe that doesn't have the 20 or 15 milliliters to know which one to go for. That's pretty funny.
Um, yeah, but I know baking, I do a lot of baking being a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a spoon that I use a lot. But
Mhm.
a tablespoon of sugar versus an Australian tablespoon of sugar.
Not too
Uh,
bad.
I'm not winning any baking competitions. I'm just baking for the family and stuff. So if it's
Nice.
a little bit out, it usually comes out in the wash.
Nice. We don't have Paul Hollywood on this phone call, so I think that is totally good. Oh, that's awesome. And then one thing to add is just you were very generous and did a little call for Rise Up just to talk about this spoon. So if folks have
Mm.
not seen that, that is saved on the riseupandcarve.com Zoom channel. So feel free to hop on to that Zoom video to watch that as well as kind of a precursor to this spoon. Those are saved on our Zoom and in perpetuity, so you'll be able to check those out as well. Anything else before we hop into the show and tell with the folks on the line?
Um, I don't think so. I do really love these challenges, so it's great to see what people come up with. Um, so yeah, just if you're going to carve one, have fun with it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Barry. And also, as everyone is doing their show and tells, feel free if you've got any questions for Barry. We've got a smaller group this morning. Um, who would like to go first?
Hello.
Hi.
So I kind of waited until the last minute. I had this drawn out on a piece of wood um, that Phil and Dominic had brought up to me, a little blank of cherry. And I tried to axe it out of apple because my thought was I wanted it to be thin and strong. And apple is so nice and dense, but that did not work out and I had too many cracks in the log. So ended up just making out of the cherry and I shrunk the template about 20%. So I used it as is and then here's a little sketch. So I shrunk it and then in my mind when I axed it out, I knew I needed to have it a little bit deeper on the bowls in order to get the right measurement. So I did use the poppy seeds and it's very satisfying, like seeing if they fit or not. Um, I have one knife that I tried to kind of do what Rachel did,
Mhm.
and this roughing out knife that I have almost would fit in the teaspoon, but
Mm.
not quite. You know, it was starting to go around on the opposite edge. So in order to get this deeper, I had to use a small flex cut gouge
Okay.
in order
Yeah.
to just like it just a little bit more. Um, and then I did use this knife on the tablespoon, and that seemed to go pretty fast. I was surprised. I thought it was going to take longer to get the volume that I needed,
Mhm.
but it ended up being fine. And yeah, I had no idea that the Australian measurements were any different, but I just used the tablespoon and teaspoon that I have in the kitchen. So then I co-rose the different teas on the different
Ah,
episodes for, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
it's
really
pretty
nice touch.
yeah.
self-explanatory, but I
Yeah,
just thought
so cute.
it would be something different. So
Oh, that's fantastic, Jody. The finish on it's beautiful, and that kohl rosine touch just looks really sweet. I love that.
it's pretty thin. I can right now see some light as I'm
Hmm.
through it. The sun's coming in, but that's kind of what I wanted. I kind of was trying to see how thin I could go without,
Mm.
and it ended up being lucky that this just fits just barely, like it touches on both sides and then goes in to
Yeah.
the, so I
You
think
Nice.
it'll
said
be
that was cherry, right?
yeah, this is black cherry.
Mm.
Yep. So thanks, Barry.
No problem.
It,
They
it was
don't get.
a challenge to axe out um this part, like the end grain off the back of the spoon was just, how do you really get that gone without going into this part. It was really challenging, and I ended up doing some on my spoon mule because I felt like
Yeah.
I could go slower with that than the axe. So that ended up working out for me. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think it's something that you can go pretty thin with because it's not like you're digging into a bowl of ice cream or
Yeah.
anything too tough. So
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Jody, thank you so much. It's a beautiful, beautiful spoon.
Thanks,
Um,
guys.
yeah, I love the scaling down 20%. That's a really nice size. It seems to fit well in your hand. It's very cool. Fantastic. Well, we've got, thank you so much, Jody. I'm going to switch the spotlight here.
Good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you doing?
Good.
Wonderful.
So the very same day that we did the last Rise Up and Carve,
Mhm.
um, I started working on my first one, and because I just picked up some maple, and so I thought, well, I'll try using the maple, and so I started working on this one the very next day, and as you can see, there's a little problem with alignment.
yeah.
So, and and the measurements were all wacky and stuff. So I actually abandoned this one pretty
Mm.
early. Yeah, for some reason everything came into focus. Um, so I abandoned this one pretty early and restarted. And at the same time that I restarted, I had the idea, it would be really cool to make 4 in 1 instead of 2 in 1. And so I decided, well, what I should do, I never completed that, but I started working on the idea and I thought, well, it's going to be really huge, I won't even be able to fit it into a drawer because would end up looking like a tire iron, one of those 4-spoke things,
Yeah.
because it would end up, like this. And so then I decided, well, I'll just make them shorter. So then I
Mhm.
started making them shorter, and then I realized when I join them together, they're going to be so short that it's going to be really hard to use because they're too short. So then I decided, well, I haven't done anything that I have to
Mhm.
do it as a 4-spoke. My original idea was to use I forget the name of the joints right now, but half laps
Mhm.
uh, to
Mhm.
join
Yeah.
the 2 spoons together into one. So then I went back and
Oh.
completed 2 sets, and I wanted a coal rose on the handle,
Yeah.
and so then I decided, well, then I'm going to need to label them. Either I'm going to label them on the back,
Mhm.
or I would do it right in the bowl. So I ended up doing it in the bowl, and this one and the label ended up being really kind of sloppy, and but this is more what I had in mind for how to
Yeah.
label them so that they would be.
It's a great idea doing other
That's
sizes.
Yeah, that's so cool, John. I absolutely love it. And the label in the bowl, I think, just looks really sweet. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, those came out well. The ones on the bigger one
Mm.
didn't come out quite so neat to look at. And the coal rosing, I to do the dots in the middle, I used a bigger tool than I think I would do next time,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up just a little too gross and not very delicate looking. And I left the backs kind of rough
Mm-hmm.
on the backs of them also,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
so it
texture's
has
nice.
texture and overall it's just kind of more rustic looking, and I was okay with that because the maple was ending up having spots and stuff in the wood. You know, I thought, well, it's not going to be very perfect looking, so I'm just going to leave it kind of rustic. So, and I had intended to maybe go back and try the 4-spoke one, except with, you know, longer handles and stuff. But then I started carving a
Yeah.
bunch of little pendants and this little axe. I did a bunch of spoons and
Nice.
pendants, and I never got back to working on the
And the
measuring
tie
spoons. And but anyway, that was fun. It was a good challenge. Um, the tool that I used for doing the bowls was this,
Mm-hmm.
the little the gouge, and I found that, you know, that made it possible for me to get down into the bowls small enough, and so and I went with that. So anyway,
That's fantastic. Well, I absolutely love them. And the one maple one that you had at the beginning that's a little bit twisted, maybe you
yeah,
could just like label that a pinch or a smidge or a dash instead of a true measurement, because it might be a little unique every time it's used. That's still a
yeah,
beautiful spoon.
yeah. Well, you know, I thought about, you know, just chopping the big end off,
Hmm.
just using the
Yeah.
small one for going into the spice jars.
Yeah.
Because I made this one nice and narrow,
No.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
To tell you the truth, John, the first one I made, I wasn't paying attention and I cleaned out one bowl and I was using um, I had it in the shave force and I turned it around and I went to do the other one and I'd actually put the bowl in the opposite side. So it was more like a kayak paddle or something where you've got the curve going the wrong way. And it was never very useful. Um, so if somebody else makes that work, I'm impressed. But I just ended up making a mess in the kitchen with it every time I used it.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That'd be a good challenge to make them where they're all each one curved the wrong way, and just end up with a tool that's completely useless.
mhm. It's too funny. Well, thank you so much. They are a wonderful collection. I love that you have multiple sizes. Patrice, Denver John, Scotland John, which one of you would like to go next?
There you go.
Okay, I am going to add a spotlight. Let me just switch this out quickly. All right, Patrice.
So this is my first template that I attempted since July. So I kind of eased myself back into it. And I did cut the template out, thought it was too big, made it 75%. And I thought it was still a little big. So then I had these really tight shoulders instead of like the longer tapering. And then I saw Dave's. Well, no, I was inspired by Dave's because he had the like straighter handle coming out to the bowls, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that too. So then that is the path I took, and it's a little wonky, but overall, I really enjoyed this wood, and it just whittled away so fast that I had to kind of like stop myself and then kind of check the measurements. But since it is smaller, this one's about half a tablespoon, and
Mhm.
this one's a little bit smaller than a half a teaspoon. But
Mhm.
if you heap it, you get like a half a teaspoon. So this is made from willow that I got at a spoon carving workshop that I went to recently, and it was just the perfect offcut for this project. And then I soaked it in baking soda for a few hours on accident. It was just going to be a short period of time. The willow had this really pretty pink
Yeah.
like corally color, but that kind of all blended into like a more dark caramelized, like color after the long soak. But overall, like I think I want to do the template again and do it correctly, in air quotes correctly, and then get that nice flowing shape into the transition from the bowls to the handle, and then experiment with getting all the different sizes like John did, because I think that would be something that I would really learn from doing that. And yeah, just trying it again and see what I come up with for the different shapes. Maybe everyone could be a different color, or everyone could be coal roast a little different. I like the different coal roasting techniques that everyone has brought to this. So I decided to leave it plain because the wood's really pretty in person, harder to see on Instagram or on Zoom. But yeah, it is really pretty wood. So next time, maybe a paler wood so I can do some more decorations on it. But yeah, that is my little measuring scoop.
It's lovely, Patrice. That handle's really gorgeous, and the color, I think it's coming across really nice on Zoom. That's so
Mm.
beautiful.
I
I
actually
love
see
the
the transition.
square shoulders.
Yeah,
Mm.
me
I think they
too.
look really good.
Oh, thanks.
I only do the flowing ones because the square ones are harder to do. Harder to get nice and clean.
I did figure that out. I was like, oh, this is more work. Like trying to make the bowls more circular was a lot of, like back and forth and back and forth. And then this one was circular, but then I split off like a whole side of it, like out here, and I had to keep like whittling it away till I got, something like a spherical shape. But I had to use mostly that little palm gouge, that little flex cut palm gouge that had the most curve. And then I did have to do some sanding just to like widen out the space, because there really wasn't a lot of room to get in
Yeah.
there without just carving away like channels, like a little valley. So I used sandpaper to just smooth out and get as much as possible. I really didn't want to snap that point. So I think a lesson would be, don't carve the handle really close to the, don't tighten that shoulder area until you've got your measurement correctly
Yeah.
sorted out, and then whittle that down to the right thickness that you want. And I kind of hobbled myself by making the handle like too thin.
Mm.
And then I was a little paranoid the whole time that I would snap off the little scoop the whole time. So don't do what I did.
That's good advice. Oh, well, that's
So
beautiful. Thank you.
it's mine.
And we're so excited that your photos are back for the reveals as well, Patrice. I'm excited to go through those because your staging and Jody's is really beautiful. So we were chatting about that before the recording started.
Do you have a piece of the willow to show the regular color?
Mm.
Because that
I guess so.
soaking is really nice.
Well,
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Baking soda. It's magic. It's absolute magic.
yeah. I just happen to have a little piece, so I would remember what the wood was. You're in luck.
That's so cool. Wonderful. All right. John or John, who would like to go next? All right, we got John. I'm gonna switch the pins and spotlight here.
So this is mine. This is red alder. David out in Washington sends me a lot of red alder, and I just love this spoon, this wood species. This is right out the template. This is it. This is the way it comes. So I wanted to all my measuring cups. They're just the narrow the little bowl. So I wanted, let's just do it just like that. And I decided I try to make it a little artsy. So it's got all the nice faceting on the,
Mhm.
there's 5 facets, it's nice. And I put a little swoop in the handle just to try to give it a little life there. And then on your example, there's 6 spoons, and I grabbed the one all the way on the right that's got the raised cups.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought that, if you're gonna measure across your flour or whatever, that it's nice to have it all level,
Yeah.
So
And it looks really nice as well.
yeah, so I wanted to, just kind of honor that part of the tablespoon, teaspoon. I was like going back and forth. Should I cold roast this? Put a tablespoon. I thought maybe I put the tablespoon on the back, but if you're looking at this and you can't figure out where the tablespoon is, then you probably should be cooking, right? So I left it undecorated because I just really like the color of the wood. There's no soak. It's just oil, just
Beautiful.
walnut oil. So I really liked it. This wood it's really easy for it to come out nice. I mean, if you can see the radial,
Mhm.
Yeah.
obviously obviously zoom doesn't help, but so this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this.
The back of your bowl is really cool, John. Just the shoulders, they're kind of like that continuous line from the back of the bowl into the handle facet. I think you did a really nice job on that. That's so pretty. Yeah, look at that. So nice.
I originally left the lip on there on both ends, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take that off and make that nice and smooth. And I like it. Came out good. Good template.
Looks
Thank
great.
you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, John.
Yep.
Okay, let me just switch the spotlights. And John, you are going to be up. All right, let me replace for other John. We've got 3 Johns on the call today, everyone. This is pretty exciting.
I was making little oak scoops like that, and it's not quite dry. That's why it's a different colour. So I had a chunk left. It was quite straight grained, so I made it just exactly the same way.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like that, and then the middle. I thought at first it was baking soda, but then I realised it was some kind of waterproofing stuff, sodium metal bisulfite, but it rotted the top of the lid. So it actually turned it into an eberizing solution. So
Wow.
that was there's little bits of red and everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says it turned it. You can see it bleeding through up here, and it's bled through down here as well. But it's
Huh.
so it's got there's more red there. It was a complete
Yeah, that
accident.
red.
It says, but it's turned the oak all sorts of funny colours.
That's
Uh,
wild.
and I used just one of these. It's a
Hmm.
cheap Chinese copy of a Mora, and I've also modified it and put an edge on it properly, and it fits in. And you basically use it like a drill. So you catch it like that to start with, and you go round and round and round and like that, and you can take out. The oak's a bit hard for it, but softer wood you can get out. If you do maybe 6 or 7 turns like that, you'll get a complete like rose will pop out in one go. It's just a funny radiusy thing, and that's all. And that's just the same doing the other side, but sweeping it more round. And that's the only tool you
Yeah.
use to get there. But it's ideal for making little scoops. Then completely circular too, because if you keep going round and round, it makes a circle without actually trying. But
Nice.
I've been a bit busy, so I've only actually made one, which is not normal. But so that's my little scoop in or tablespoon teaspoon combo. So they're quite good to make it. And the oak, it was a bit harder than normal, but it's not that bad because it's quite green and it dries out. That's only 3 or 4 days and it dries completely. So that was my scoop.
I love it. That chip carving's really cool on there too, and that kind of those red colors are really unexpected.
Yeah, it was just it turned black. Then a day later after that, it turned that red
Yeah.
color. So it's whatever the lid in the jam jar was. It oxidized into it and turned it into this weird solution. So
Oh, interesting.
Looks
John,
great.
could you
yeah,
explain what that solution was again?
it's after last year's the first hoolie, we're speaking to, I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, Jem was describing how to do waterproof wee bowls, and it was using isinglass, and it's actually sodium metal bisulfite, which is it's use it for sterilizing wine bottles and things. No idea what you're supposed to do it, and it's a preserver as well. So I had some of that mixed up when I was trying that to water. It didn't actually work for waterproofing, so that's why it's still in a jar. And then it's just all it is it's eating through the plastic that lines the jar, and it's dropped into it and corroded it and turned it and oxidized it. So it's virtually making ebonizing solution, but not quite.
Yeah.
2 seconds. No, you can't. That's.
Oh, so how do you the waterproofing? Is it just sodium bisulfite in water?
Yes, it's a bit like the post-war. It was a way of preserving eggs.
Yeah.
Water glass or isinglass is what the other name for it is, but it didn't work anyway.
It doesn't.
No, it didn't work for waterproofing. The
Okay.
whole idea was you dip your eggs in it and it stops bacteria getting in through the pores of an eggshell. And it was supposed to do the same, but it didn't work. I didn't think it worked anyway. You're better off just using oil.
Yeah.
Good to know. Experiments in in finishing.
But it turns oak red when you add a tin lid to it. So I might actually make up some more and add some wire wool and see what happens after that.
That's wild. Well, thank you so much. I love, again, the chip carving decoration. Really, really fun. And you said that was oak as well?
It's oak, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I was gonna say I was going to just leave it. You can see the rays going across the way, but I thought, well, there's a big flat surface there. I need to do something with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, John. I can share mine really quickly, and then we'll hop into the Instagram feed here. So let me come in here, and I have not done the poppy seed. I'll probably use salt. Just we don't have any poppy seeds on hand, but mine are still drying. So I wanted to wait until they're fully dry before measuring the volume out. But this is the one that I did straight from the template. This is wild cherry, pin cherry from where we're at in Washington. And so just a really lovely shape. I'll have a couple finishing cuts to do, but overall, it carves very beautifully. So just a really nice kind of shape. I attempted some facets and little flat bottoms. I figured since it would probably be sitting on a counter between cooking sessions, adding little flat bottoms for mine worked pretty well. So hopefully when it dries, the volume is close to a teaspoon and a tablespoon. I think so. It seems like a lot of space. So wild cherry, true to the template, or mostly true to the template with the little bottoms, a little unique. And then I thought I would go a little crazy and try one different one, but now I'm worried that you said if you have them opposite bowls that it gets messy, which makes sense. So I have a bowl like here, and then if you flip the handle, the bowl is on the other side, but I also got rid of most of the handle. So this is my little interpretation of a kind of quirky little measuring spoon scoop, and you essentially would hold it like in the scoop while you're scooping out stuff. So the functionality, not quite sure how functional I actually made this, but a little unique, a little crazy.
That is adorable. I think it's gonna work fine.
I hope so.
Cute.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just curry powder is the problem. If you start scooping curry powder, it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
For everything else.
If I was going to do another one, Kaylyn, I would do that exact same thing. I wouldn't flip the bowls like that, but just
the short one. I think I would keep
the bowls and a tiny little handle.
I think I would keep both of the bowls up, because holding the big one and using the little works, but holding the little one is a little awkward. So I think having both of the bowls face upwards, but just squeezing them in a little bit for a shorter piece of wood So it's kind of a fun little challenge, fun little unique design. Kept flat bottoms on these as well, which is not necessary for this shape. But yeah, thank you, Barry, for the
How long
good.
did that one take, Kaylin, that second one?
About the same time as the big one, just because anytime, man, when I was working on the patina scoops or anything small like the Orin chicken scoop, I get terrified of cutting my hands because your knives are so close to you. So I tend to carve the little ones a lot slower than I do the big ones. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So the same time, I don't know. I haven't timed myself carving these, but 3-4 hours probably. I'm not
Well,
sure.
there's no blood on there, so it's obviously
No.
working.
Yeah, all my fingers are good. But I do take little scoops very slowly because I am always terrified that I'm going to cut myself. I do not have scoop confidence yet. That's something that I'm working on. So wonderful. We're going to hop into the Instagram really quickly. So we have, for anyone who's watching the recording, if you're new to Rise Up, we do use the social media platform Instagram. And if you are on Instagram and you use the hashtag function, so it's the little pound sign, and you do just Ruac, Rise Up and Carve, spoon challenge, and then the number of the challenge that you find on the template. When you do that, it allows us to have a collection of the spoons to review together on the show and tell. So even if you're not able to attend in person, if you've got a vacation, holiday, or conflict, we can see the beautiful spoons you've made. And so I'm just going to start here at the very first post, and then we'll walk through each of them. Everyone can take yourselves off mute. Feel free to chatter, move about the cabin, as Chuck says, if you would like to. So this is Barry's original post. That's a gorgeous piece of wood. Barry, what kind of wood is that?
That's rosewood.
Oh, that
Um,
color.
yeah, so it's a great color, and it smells like roses when you're carving it. It's pretty cool.
That's incredible. Yeah, the finish on it looks really, really beautiful as well. That color is just gorgeous. Then here we've got that full collection, as John mentioned. There's the little bowl lip, dippy bowl design here. I like that.
Yeah, I burnt the back of the bowls on that one, just for something different. So
Very
this
cool.
was, yeah, this was they were gifts for teachers last year, so they're all a little bit different.
This is a fantastic gift idea because I feel like sometimes when you're giving wooden spoons to people who don't necessarily use them every day, like we all do, baking and cooking is kind of the one area where people do use wooden spoons. So as a gift idea, this is a really clever
That is
one.
a really, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and here we go. As I mentioned earlier on the Zoom channel, sorry, not Zoom, YouTube channel for riseupandcarve.com, Barry did do a deep discussion on the spoons, so you can hop onto that YouTube to get more content. And look at this tiny scoop. That's so beautiful. Camphor laurel.
Yeah, that's just a spoon that a friend of mine gave me. I just used the
size.
size because for those of you, it's really, really tiny.
Yeah, that is teeny tiny. That gouges probably, like I don't have a hook knife that could fit into that. That's wild.
I think he said he made it out of a bicycle spoke or something like that.
What? Oh,
Like
that's cool.
he made the it was a homemade
Yeah.
carving tool.
Oh, that's lovely. And what a talk about something that would normally fly off the, axe block as a wood chip, but is so beautiful and really worth saving and worth turning into something. That's really lovely.
Yeah, Theo does some really good stuff with little tiny offcuts of just weird woods and
Yeah.
That shape would
Perfect.
make a really nice shape for making a set of measuring spoons.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. Cool. And then Suze did such a nice job where not only did she get this little beautiful measuring spoon, but she also turned this beautiful salt cellar. So she's got a whole combination here.
That's cool.
I think this might be my favorite of everybody's. It's just so
Yeah.
pretty.
Two birds with one spoon, as they say. She's got such a good sense of humor. Oh, if you're watching the recording, Suze, this is really beautiful. She gives credit for copying the design, but did such a lovely job on it. Talk about lovely jobs. Look at this texturing and the pink coloration. This must be plum, right? No?
I
Hornbeam, maybe.
thought it was no.
Usually carves in those spoon species in here. Yeah.
Blackthorn, maybe.
It's
Mm-hmm.
probably blackthorn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
beautiful.
those facets are gorgeous.
Yeah, and this, like the cleanliness, though, that bowl is beautiful.
So round that is.
Well
So
done,
an-
Rachel.
So annoying that she does that so good.
So perfectly. I think circles are still the hardest thing to get represented when you're carving wood. Like it's so much easier to get an oval. So that circle test is truly a lot of skill. That's incredible.
It's all lathe, right?
This is hand carving. This is
Okay.
this is a Zoom.
Yeah.
We're live, but I'm not on. I'm not. But it's interesting.
And then Noma, I don't think I know the name of this person, but a really beautiful spoon as well. That's gorgeous. Oh, the design or look at the colors in here too.
Mm.
Oh, what species are these? We're gonna have to do a public announcement of add your species in here. We're jealous of your wood species.
Yeah.
This one's Rowan.
Oh, Rowan. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, the growth rings in there. And just, I don't know if that's spalting or if the speckling's normal for that species, but that's really, really lovely.
That's the mark of a good spoon carver when they can get the grain
Mhm.
to line up like that. Like that's so hard.
It is. And this really pretty and precise facet as well as a super neat detail. So cool. And Doc, oh, carved in ash. Nice. That's really lovely.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Ash is a tough wood to carve, but if you can get something made out of it, it's going to last a lifetime. Oh, Patrice, here we go. Look at this beautiful morning light. Oh, cool. Yeah, these are beautiful too.
Take a few pictures, have some tequila, take a few pictures.
Yourself a nice grain bowl with this quinoa. That's lovely. That's beautiful, Patrice.
I see the
Have fun with
quinoa,
it.
and what is the other? Is that chili flakes and poppy
Chili
seeds?
flakes and black cumin.
Oh, nice.
So I put black cumin in a grinder and then grind it up. It's kind of like pepper, but it has.
Could you use that for cold roasting if you could grind that up?
No, it's a little bit more like pepper.
Mm.
Yeah, where it's a little too coarse.
So black. It's so cool.
It is.
Yeah, that
I could
color.
try.
Wow, beautiful job, Patrice. That's so lovely. And then here we've got the full category. That's so neat that
I love this.
resin. And also like you're baking, this looks like it could be out of a cookbook too.
She
So
hopped
nice.
off, I think,
Okay.
but
A little
yeah, I really like it.
rosemary.
Yeah. So lovely. Get those cranberries ready for the holiday.
Cranberries.
Much more
Beautiful.
seasonally appropriate.
Yeah. And then sometimes the hashtag doesn't show all spoons. Does anyone know someone specific that we should look up where the spoon is not? John, is yours showing up on here?
Nope, mine didn't show up.
And let
No,
me
Yeah,
mine
mine.
don't.
Nor do I think it's something with our names, John.
No Johns allowed here.
No Johns allowed.
Hey, look at that wood pile. All those across it.
And these really beautiful ray flecks in here, or ray flecks,
I don't
medullary
know what to
rays.
call those. Aren't medullary rays like smaller and shinier? Like these are
These are
just extra
ray
grain
flecks. Look at this. Oh,
accessories.
so nice.
This is like kindergarten for Jody and Patrice, but
It's beautiful. That's really
I
nice.
was
I
pleased
just
to
wanted to throw
see.
like those are all the same measurement. Like this is so volume
That's
is so
wild. Good photos, John.
Thank you. Put JC couples up there.
I was gonna see.
Tim, you got him.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, that hashtag should work for everything. It's crazy that it's not.
The
Oh,
last few months it stopped working. It's only showing half a dozen or a dozen things altogether.
that's crazy.
Nice job with the coal rosing, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. Maple was so, so smooth white. And then when I got into the bowls, then it was like all this other stuff showed up. That's one of the
Yeah.
start of that one that
Did you soak that maple at all, or is that's just what it is?
yeah, it's just what it is. I didn't soak it at all.
That's so cool.
Cool.
I'm gonna go back and try and make some half and quarter spoons. You've inspired me, John.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah.
really
Yeah, for
sweet.
sure.
So there's the original one.
Nice. Oh, so cute.
I was carving something out of a mimosa. Whenever I'm in the workshop, Dean comes in and sits and waits until I throw him a new toy, and so that's a piece of mimosa.
So cute. The perfect shop pets. So cute. These are a lovely collection. So nice. And then got
John in Scotland. John in Scotland, I have a question for you. You mentioned that when you're carving your bowl, the you could have the whole rose come out in one piece out of the
Yep.
bowl. Do you ever save those and make something out of them?
No. It goes into the guinea pig's hutch and they pee on them.
there you go.
Guinea pig decoration.
Lovely. Well, keep searching the hashtag.
Jeff has one.
Oh, Jeff, great. Jeff, your Instagram handle, Jeff Riot or Jeff who is
Jeff Riot.
The Friday one, yeah.
thank you. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's
Oh,
swoopy.
that's nice.
Look at that. I haven't seen that one come up on my regular feed at all.
That's like your one, which is shorter.
Yeah, it's flipping beautiful. That's perfect.
That's what I want to do, just like that. That's really
That's cool.
Pretty.
Click on the view replies. Let's see what wood that is.
Oh yeah. Persian silk tree. Paulownia. Green looks familiar.
Polonia. Yeah, it's not Polonia.
Okay.
Polonia is really easy to carve and completely useless. It's really porous and
Yeah.
light.
Yeah, that's pretty. This looks like white ash for us, actually, the kind of semi-porous where it's got the growth
Yeah.
rings that are a little bit more porous. That's very pretty. Anyone else that we know of having one out there?
I was looking, I can't find any.
Okay. If not, keep on going through. Ruac spoon. Ah, he had a spelling error. Okay. At least we know one hashtag. Whoops. Okay. Back to the participants. One thing that I did also want to share before we end our call today, I wanted to see is we have a new template out on riseupandcarve.com. And so we'll just look for that really quickly. Okay, so under the spoon challenge section on the riseupandcarve.com, if you're new to RiseUp, there are PDF templates that are standard printer sheet sized. So you can come in here, all of our templates are free. You can find all of our older templates with, again, the hashtag. You can look at what we've done on the reveal calls, and they are on our YouTube channel as well. The next one is spoon adjacent. So this was provided by Jasmine, and it is a kind of staff that you can use to release muscle tension. So it's a self-therapy muscle-based tool. So two sides, one has kind of a globe ball and the other side is flat. You can make it spoon-like as well, so pain spots. So this one will be fun to see everyone's interpretation on, and that will be December 10th, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK time, 6 a.m. Pacific, all of the time zones. You can kind of do your math from there. So we look forward to seeing you. And that is what we've got for our reveal call today. Thank you for those of you who are just joining to kind of check out the reveals. And thank you, Barry, for your time today.
No problem. It was fun. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. And I just wanted to welcome Jeff, and I want to pronounce this right, Cayford. So welcome to Rise Up and the Reveal. We're excited that you're here as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.